Well, Bernie's shocking. I mean, these fundraising numbers just continue to surge. Now there are reports that he's bringing in $5 million. He's brought that much in just since his Michigan win alone. So he's got the money. We know that. Obviously, he's got the momentum. But guess what? Not the delegate. It's the Democratic strategist, Erikka Knuti. What is the deal here? Where's the disconnect, and is there some kind of shenanigans going on? Of course, we're all learning about these so-called super delegates that seem to make this whole idea of having a Democratic primary, just not even important because it feels like the fix is in already.
Well, and I think even without the superdelegates, right now Hillary's on pace to beat Bernie. And a lot of it has to do with how the delegates are divided up proportionally. So in order to overcome the Clinton landslide the way it is right now, Bernie has to win in landslides. It's not enough to just barely win or eke out a win or surprise wins. You have to crushingly win. And it's really interesting that delegates are now the name of the game. It's not a normal election. This is really a party election. So if delegates.
But Erikka, there's not a direct correlation between the amount of votes that each candidate has gotten so far and the amount of delegates. Isn't there some major discrepancy there?
Well, I mean, it's like a kind of almost like a super electoral college in that it's done out proportionally. So, and it's by the state. So, yes, and I do think that if Clinton doesn't win without superdelegates, then it will feel like it won't feel quite like a pure victory. And I think there would be a lot of upset within the party. So,
in a way, you are admitting that no matter what, she's going to win officially.
I think right now, but then again, I mean, here's the thing. The Michigan victory for Sanders was not something that nobody predicted, and it does kind of throw things up in the air. Even where Clinton is polling really well, states like Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania are coming up, and they mirror Michigan's demographics a little bit more. So if Clinton has more trouble there, there is a path for Bernie, but I do think, again, they have to be landslides.
All of the media attention has been on a potential brokered convention with the Republicans, but, Bernie Sanders is a flamethrower. He's a rebel rouser, and it's hard for me to believe that he can continue his momentum, pull off a few more upsets, and a couple you potentially mentioning just now, and somehow go to the convention and keep quiet. I mean, he could really shake things up.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing about the Michigan primary is that it looks like voters don't necessarily want the Democratic primary to be over. I think a lot of people who, even if they think that Hillary might make a better president, they like what Bernie's saying, and they like, having him out there kind of rebel-rousing. There's kind of, it's not just, I think, a pushback against Washington, but what we're seeing right now, Republicans and Democrats, a pushback against the party.
When we watch these debates, it just feels like Bernie is so much more optimistic. He's so much more confident that Hillary's always on the defensive, and you have to wonder how much of this hurts her in a general election. I know that the barbs that are being thrown at each other on the GOP side, we're going to hear them over and over again in commercials on the general election, but some of that's beginning to happen with the Democrats as well.
Well, and I think one of the successful things that Bernie Sanders has done is managed to be strong, aggressive, and even a little bit angry without being negative. And there's something about negativity, defensiveness, it strikes kind of an emotional response with people, not logical. Kind of goes back to our limbic lizard brain. And so I think people kind of respond in an emotional response to people who are being defensive. And that has been a weakness of Hillary Clinton's recently. And, I get why she's defensive. I mean, Bernie's kind of come out of nowhere. Nobody knew who he was a year ago. And now he's, beaten her in states like Michigan.
Yeah, and not everyone has seen Seinfeld or some of these other shows. But let me, one final question for you. The enthusiasm gap. It's just absolutely remarkable. Over 12 million votes for the GOP side, 5 million more than Democrats right now. Is this just something that's typically natural in the cycles when you have an existing president, or is there something here that doesn't bode very well for your party?
I think it's a little bit disappointing that the numbers haven't been higher. I think we're having an unusual year for the Republicans, so I don't know how much of it is actually bad, lower turnout for Democrats, such as super turnout for Republicans. I mean, this is a record-breaking year on many fronts, so I think that's really more what we're seeing.
All right, Erikka. Tell you what, not going to be boring, that's for sure. Really appreciate it.
Not boring at all.
Okay, see you soon.